Hey everybody, Chef Justin here from Big Red Hunters. This week we're doing a cooking video using ground venison. The dish is called ground turkey skillet. Allie found this 3 weeks ago online, decided to have me give it a shot, and instead of ground turkey we are using ground venison. So we actually changed the name to ground venison skillet. It's very simple. It's a pretty fast dish to make when you've had a long day, and it's not bad for your health, so it's really tasty, and I hope you enjoy, and hopefully you get a chance to try this dish out and that you enjoy it. Alright, so we're going to start off by using some olive oil, a little bit of this. You don't have to go too much, but it helps with cooking the meat since it's so lean. Put a little bit in that after the pan has warmed up a little bit. And then after that, it's the ground venison. So in this, it's important to note that in this video, we are actually making double the recipe because it serves as a good lunch for leftovers. So I'll tell you, I'll link down below everything as far as ingredients, but it's gonna be half of what I'm utilizing tonight. So I'll tell you what I'm using quantity wise for double the recipe, but then down below will be the single recipe. I'm just getting all this in there. So now we got the meat browning here. Now one of the things that I do that kind of just takes some effort is I really like to chop it up nice and fine, so I go over it quite a bit and really spend the time making sure that those bits are nice and small. So I know I made chili one time for my grandparents, and my grandpa's been cooking wild game for a long time, and just meals in general, and my grandma had mentioned that the meat was really fine and she'd never been able to get it that fine. Well, I just spend a long time just sitting here chopping it up, so that's one thing I like to do. And as the meat is browning here, we're gonna start preparing other ingredients. So alright, so one of the next things while the meat is browning is I'm going to go ahead and cut up the yellow pepper. I already had some onion chopped up that was in the freezer, so I'm going to utilize that and not need to chop that up, but at this time it'd be a good time to go ahead and chop up the onion as well if you need to do that. So we're going to cut this up in kind of smaller strips, and then you're going to cut them up into about small, I don't know, bite-sized pieces. Maybe you like them bigger, but I like to make them about roughly, I'll do this, make sure you can see it a little better there, but make them around that size, and that's about perfect. You just want to, since I'm making double once again, I think it calls for half a cup or a cup. Again, that will be in the description, the actual amount, but I utilize in the double whole pepper. And then as far as onion goes, I think it's a 1.5 cup in the single serving. I like a lot of onions, and sometimes I put a little more than that. So alright, so we have all of the meat browned and got it all minced up nice. One of the things, since we are making ground venison, I never run into the factor of having grease or anything like that you would with ground beef. Ground turkey, you wouldn't have that issue either, but we don't have to drain it because of that fact. So now that the meat is done browning, we are going to add the other ingredients in. So We're gonna add in the onion, which is a cup for double. I make it a nice heaping cup. And since, once again, this was already pre-cut, we're just gonna take it out of here. Run it out of there. And we're gonna have more than a cup in this bag, but again, that's not level there, so we're right about on target. And again, I like quite a bit of onion, so we're just gonna go ahead and put the whole bag. Okay, we got that in there. We're gonna put the yellow pepper in there. That's what the recipe calls for. I know some people don't like, maybe prefer a different color pepper. Feel free to play around and experiment with this recipe. We've had good luck with the yellow pepper. We like it quite a bit. In addition to that, it calls for a teaspoon of garlic. You can get a garlic clove and break it up yourself if you want, but I bought it in a jar here where it's already minced garlic. And then I just use 2 teaspoons because again we're doing double the recipe here. Put that in there. And then the last 2 things are the 3 cups of chopped green beans and the tomato sauce. So we got 2 cans of 8-ounce tomato sauce. The recipe, the single serving, calls for 1 can. So we're gonna go ahead and open up these jars here. Get them ready. And once everything's in there, we'll stir it up. And there's also calls for salt and pepper and then a pinch of red pepper. So the salt and pepper is just to, and the pinch I guess too, is just to taste whatever you prefer. There's no set amount that you need. So we'll go ahead and get this in there. Do the green beans afterwards. Make sure we get all that in there. Lid's having a little difficulty. It's not cooking unless you get your hands dirty, right? There we go. Alright, so we got that in there. Now it's time for the green beans. Rinse my hands real fast. So I buy the green beans already pre-chopped. You could go the fresh route and chop it up yourself, but this just makes it a little easier again when you want to save some time and had a long day at work and just want to come home and finish it. So it calls for 3 cups in the double recipe once again. And you can put them in there frozen because we're going to let this cook a bit anyway after you get everything in there. So it's not quite a whole bag. Somebody might want to take and put the whole bag in, which actually, you know, I think we've got maybe half a cup left in there, so we might just go ahead and put it in there because these are nice and healthy for you. So we're going to go ahead and put in the whole bag, mix everything together here, and then after everything's mixed together, we're going to go ahead and put a little bit of seasoning in, and then put the lid on and let this thing simmer until it's ready. We want to just put the lid on and make sure those green beans get nice and cooked, and the onion as well, and then we're going to let those flavors just kind of combine together. So get this mixed up. Alright guys, so last step, we're going to put in some seasoning. Instead of salt, I like to put garlic salt in there. Just gives a little bit more of that garlic. I love the taste of garlic. And then already has the salt in there obviously, so we don't need to add on to that. So put that in, put a little bit of pepper in, Again, you do to taste whatever you want to put in, and then you put some red crushed pepper in there. So calls for a pinch. We've got quite a bit here, so we just put in about a couple shakes, if that's what you want to call it. Small bottle, so it kind of comes out slowly. So that would be the last step of doing it. Get it nice and mixed in there. As you can see, the dish is kind of getting nice and colorful here with the green and yellow and red from the tomato sauce. Nice colorful dish, so it must be healthy, right? So get this nice and mixed up. And then we are going to cover it and let it sit on simmer for roughly, I don't know, I put it on for usually 10 minutes just to let those flavors cook in and for the green beans and the vegetables to get all the way cooked through. So put that on simmer here low. Put the lid on. Grab our wine, beer, whatever you got, water if you're underage, and we're just going to enjoy the time. Wait 10 minutes, come over and hit the fun part, eating. So alright guys, we'll be back in 10 minutes. Alright, so it's been a little bit over 10 minutes now. We're going to turn the burner off, and it's time to eat, the fun part. So it's been a little longer than 10 minutes. My mom gave me a call, haven't talked to her in a while, so we're talking, and now it's time to eat. It doesn't hurt to cook it any longer. Kept it on simmer. We're just gonna stir it up a little bit, and then it'll be nice and thick, and I think you guys would really enjoy this recipe. So we'll serve it up and give it a try. I also like to put a little bit of hot sauce on there. I've been having a hot sauce kick these days. So with that said, time to serve ourselves up and give it a go. Alright guys, so we got the food ready. It's all done, got the hot sauce in. It's time to enjoy our meal. So I think you really, once again, enjoy this. It's nice and quick. Pretty hot, as you can see the steam maybe. Anyway, on a long day coming home, I'm always in charge of cooking, so sometimes I just like to find meals that are nice and easy to cook, and especially when you can cook with wild game, and then you got plenty for leftovers to take to work for lunch, so you don't have to worry about that. So it's a win-win. So let's give it a try. And it's delicious. So it's the same as it always has been. Look down below in the description. I'm gonna have the full recipe for you. Nice and easy. I think it's something different. If you've never had wild game, or let's say that somebody you know has not had it, and you're gonna make a meal for them, or they don't like wild game taste, this has absolutely no wild game taste to it. It's a perfect meal for anybody that's trying it out. You don't even have to tell them it's venison until they try it out, and I guarantee you that they'll be surprised. So couple notes to make out since we're closing up here. One, if you haven't seen, we came out with brand new camo hoodies, grass blade hoodies. You can find it at www.bigredhunters.com. These are great hoodie performance, nice and slick, so water runs off it, blends in really well. Really like these a lot. I think you guys would too. And then also, since we're on the topic of food, today I tried from Costco, just sharing a little tip with you guys. From Costco, they have this salmon that's already smoked, honey smoked salmon. Put that in a salad, and that stuff is great. So I would recommend picking that up at the store and giving it a shot. So hope you guys are getting out in the field this week, whether you're hunting deer, ducks, geese, whatever you're hunting. Hope you're getting out there and you're enjoying it, and that you're really finding unique ways to make some recipes with it. So have a great week.